welcome back to Your Impact. I'm Luzanne Gileos, your host. And this is a really special episode for me. It's the 100th episode of Her Impact. And I can't believe it. Just astonished that we managed Her Impact podcast to have 100 episodes. To me, it's crazy. It's just so out of this world that Her Impact has managed to last this long, to last in 100 episodes. And since we have reached 100, I was thinking to do this episode like a celebration episode, but mostly just reflecting all the things that happen in these 100 episodes. When I started years ago with Her Impact, my goal was to have this platform of communication with the world in a way, because until then I didn't have a platform. And that's why I created my blog. As a scientist, as a woman in science, I felt isolated. Wherever I work as a scientist, I was not in communication with women because women didn't really exist. Mostly were men. And usually women were like in the lowest level of the ladder in science. Like we did the administration of stuff, the tasks that really didn't need a lot of brain, a lot of scientific perspective to be done. So the ideas, the hard work was done usually by men. And for me, it was difficult because what happened is that I was kicked out at the end from science in a really brutal way. And all my efforts to come back in the ring fell out. I couldn't do that anymore. Now I'm working in a very different field, not because I choose it, but because it chose me. And Her Impact is my way to have science still back in my life, in my own terms. I can interview people I want to interview. I can talk about subjects I want, and hopefully, of course, you are interested too. I try to have variety, of course, because I want people that are listening to Her Impact to have to learn something that it will have an impact on their lives, and to learn things that you are usually are boring, but science is not actually boring. It's not boring at all. It's projected this way by media, by movies, I don't know. Whatever they're talking about science, they make it sound boring, but it's not. And science is not in a lab. It's not in the universities or research organizations or even scientists. Science is everywhere. The way we breathe is science. The way the leaves fall down in the autumn is science. Why the sea is salty and why the very huge sky on our heads is blue is because of science. Everything we eat, everything we do, everything around us, in our house, but actually outside, also in nature, is science. How can science be boring? How can science be boring if flowers are blooming and birds are singing? Science is not boring. Science is real, is fascinating, has a huge imagination, because without it, we will not have these ideas to make the wheel, the cars, factories, houses, such huge imagination, movie sets, everything around us was made because some people imagined them. Some people that they are innovators. They use science to make their ideas true, and that is science. Everything is science, and that's why I think science should be taught in a way that we understand it, and not to be shown as a boring subject. When I started in science as a geologist, I tried because my math teacher told me to try it. I passed in university. I didn't know what earth science were. We didn't do them in school, which is really huge mistake when we are talking about climate change and global warming. But anyway, she told me that they have really great field trips. And that's why I went. And I was really fascinated. I mean, the first term was breathtaking. And I remember the day that I fell in love with science. It was one of the first lab we did in earth science in geology. And we were looking under the microscope the beach sun. Yep, that's what we were doing. And we were finding fossils, and really, really tiny fossils among the little small rocks. And that it was the day that I fell in with geology, that I fell in love with science, because we were doing something really, really common. I have been in the beach since I was born, because I live in a seaside town, and I never imagined that the sun has got fossils. Never. I mean, I was just so astonished that I was seeing sand, something so common, just to find some microorganisms, very small, that they die and they become fossils. And it changed everything around my life. It changed actually how I see the world and how I see life. Very different. And everything I did afterwards is because I fell in love. Yes, the love of my life is science, and it's crazy. But it's true. And because I struggle as a woman in science, I think this love is more special to me, because it was a really bumpy road. It was this kind of love you see, you read about in love stories, that maybe it's forbidden, or the man that didn't like the woman, something like that. I don't know what it was, but it's a really challenging love. And when sign was taken from me, it was devastated. I have health issues that I'm dealing now, and something that is really good for you if you have the health issues, mental health issues, that you need to seek really help that is gonna take you out from I don't know, the pool of despair and into the world, because the world is so beautiful. And one of the things that helped me do that is her impact. With these 100 episodes where the lighthouse of this dark period of my life, one of the lighthouse, and it really helped me to have that love back in my life. You know, the love that nobody can take away from me. Even if they try, couldn't take it. And it was difficult, of course, because creating a podcast and try to communicate with the world is difficult. The world has got so many voices out there, and it's difficult for your voice to be heard. I know maybe some of you have experienced the same way, the same thing with your own voice. But don't take it like it's difficult, Take it, see it in a different perspective. That's what I try to do every single day, is that I'm gonna do this for me first, I'm gonna forget everything around me and I'm gonna try to communicate first with myself and then with the world. And it was very personal at the beginning, a process to create a podcast and try to find scientific themes to communicate with you, reach out to people to be interviewed on Hair Impact. Some people never responded with a positive way. They were very negative. And only a few say yes, and I'm very, very grateful for those few that they agreed to be on Hair Impact. And I'm celebrating this 100 episode with them too, because they make Hair Impact has a bigger impact. No matter, I'm not measuring the impact. I'm not even discussing about that, but having them on this podcast really made a difference, first for me and hopefully for you that you are listening. So this is my journey, my experience with Hair Impact, what we're trying to do as a podcast to communicate with you, to try to help you to understand that, to make science part of your life, to make science your superpower, because science is a part already of your life. And if you can use it, really, you can use it to make your life so much better. And, well, I just want to say goodbye now. I hope you enjoy this journey, 100 episodes with me, as I enjoy myself in this journey of Hair Impact podcast. And I'll see you next time with another hopefully interesting episode.